I'll tell you like everybody on the internet, it's only $5, so just buy one, throw it in your glove box, right? Love to see some of these people's glove boxes, man. Probably $5 knives just falling out of there when they open it up. Hope y'all are doing well. So the other day we did a video on this guy right here, the orange D2 Ozark Trail $10 folding knife. Well, it gets even cheaper. So the $5 knife, I told you that when I got those in, we'd do a video looking at those. So this is it. This is the $5 Ozark Trail folding knife with the slide lock, axis lock style, known as the Stormtrooper in online circles. Initial impressions. Well, it opens and closes extremely well. Now, I mentioned in the last video, this is the first time I've actually had this type of lock before. I don't own the Bugout. I don't own any other of those caliber of knives in this style. If the higher end knives open like that and close like that, but they have better materials, I'm gonna probably be looking for something like that because this is nice. It doesn't have the liner like this one does, so it is a bit more lightweight. It seems to be thinner as well. And let's check the blades. I think the blade might be a bit smaller and also thinner, and probably more lightweight. Now it's a very similar shape, but it's not exactly the same. You can see this one comes over top here and starts to thin out, whereas with this one it thins out a bit sooner up here. So we're not looking at exactly the same blade style. I mean, same style, but not exactly the same shape. So there's that. Now obviously this is the mystery steel. The pocket clip is the other thing I noticed. This pocket clip is kind of funky compared to this one, and it's just not as positive of a grip on the pocket, I've noticed. You can see there's not that much gap. There's no gap on this one, whereas if you look at this one, well, if you can see that, actually a little gap there. I don't know how I feel about that. So, you know, pocket clip is not perfect, but we're talking about a $5 knife. Now let's check the blade. Let's cut some paper, see what the edge is like out of the box, because this one is really just out of the box. It's exactly the way that it was when I opened it. And let's see if she'll cut some paper. Okay. Okay, that was my bad there. Okay. So not terribly dull right out of the box. Trying to get a little sweep there. I don't know if that counts. Okay. Not terrible out of the box. The question is, how long will that last? Pick up all these scraps here. All right, how long will that last? I don't know. You can look at the edge here. So look at the edge on this one, and you'll see there's a little more meat there than this one. I don't know if you can actually tell or not, but I think they developed the edge on this a little bit better. And with it being D2, I would imagine it's going to stay sharp for longer. So no guarantees on that here. Now I have noticed earlier, I did notice that this was a little loose, and this is the way it came. I went ahead and got my tool, and we're going to tighten it up together, and we're going to see if we can get that tighter. Okay, that's much tighter. And does it still open and close? Okay, it opens and closes nicely. Yeah, maybe even more positive actually now. So is that going to stay tight? I don't know. We'll have to find out. Guys, this is a $5 knife. $5 knife. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. Now, the opening and closing, I imagine this lock like this, being such a smooth operator, that is not something that I would take for granted. Now, definitely, they've proven that it can be done. So that's really, really cool. And I'm going to be looking into getting some more of these because I do like that. I mean, if nothing else, for $5, if you get this just to open it and close it, you know, it is what it is. Now, what would I use this knife for? Is this going to replace my EDC that I mentioned in the last video, the Gonzo Firebird? See, here I go on to flick it. It's not like that. Maybe I'm getting the muscle memory and I am going to have to replace this knife. But this is a lockback. This is 440 stainless steel. This steel could possibly be better than this and not as good as this. It's worked for me. I've had this knife for a couple years. A couple reasons why I like to carry it is thin, it is lightweight. Okay, it's a little on the smaller side compared to this. And that's kind of why I like to carry it, because this just melts away in your pocket. You don't even know it's there until you need it. It always deploys the same way. It functions properly. It's a lockback, yes, but you get used to that. And you know, that's a classic thing I've always had. You know, lockbacks have been around for a long, long time. And so yeah, would this replace this? I don't know. A lot of it has to do with the steel in that blade. Also, with it coming loose like that, I'm going to be curious as to how long it stays tightened after we just tightened it. This has never had a problem like that. 2 years, and it's no up and down, no side to side. It locks up really nice. There's a reason I like this little $17 knife. Another thing, so the reason I have all these knives over here, last time I was talking about, people were testing these, you know, the tips, testing the tip, see if it would break, you know, batoning wood, doing crazy stuff. Guys, if I want to baton wood, I'm going to use something like this. Okay, this is a very thick blade. You can see that I have batoned a lot of wood with this Gerber, and it's, you know, it does great. So this is something I would use for that purpose, you know. This is something that has multiple purposes, right? Probably outside of the realm of that. I'm not going to use this as a screwdriver. Probably use something like this, right? I think it's pretty obvious that this cold steel Spartan has a type of purpose. Okay, don't even have to talk about what that might be, but it does its job, right? I'm not throwing these knives. I have this, my camp knife, Bowie knife, perfect balance thrower. Okay, you can see I've batoned some wood with this too, but these are great throwing knives as well. So I have mixed the purpose up a little bit from time to time on my knives. But my point being that there's a purpose for everything. Now, what would my purpose be for this knife? Personally, I may try to carry it. I may carry it for a period of time, and we'll see how it does. But an ideal use for this knife, for me, most likely, is going to be on my desk or around my desk, maybe as an extra in a bag or something. And it can do light duty stuff, you know, opening boxes, maybe even cutting some cardboard, although I don't know how long that blade's going to retain its sharpness with cardboard. You know, it's just, time will tell. It would be a good first knife. Why do I think that? Because the blade, you know, you're probably going to have to sharpen this. So that's going to get, you're going to learn how to sharpen the knife. You're going to get a lot of it's funny, but you'll get a lot of practice sharpening your knife, most likely, out of a blade like that. So it probably has a good purpose. But anyway, all right, so that's my take on the $5 Stormtrooper silver shaft, whatever you want to call it. That's my philosophy behind the knives. I think every knife has a purpose. Should you pick one up, that's up to you guys. You're just gonna have to figure that out for yourself. Not much loss for $5. If nothing else, you have a device that you could put on your desk. If you get bored, you can mess around with it, opening it and closing it. I just want to do it for some reason. This knife just makes you want to open it and close it. So, you know, put it by your desk. I think that's where this is going to actually end up. I thought about getting a couple more of these, possibly doing some modifications. There's another YouTuber who did some RIT dye on these scales, make it a different color. I think it'd look good in like coyote or OD green or something like that. Maybe something even more custom. Maybe put some custom thumb studs. It'd be cool just to mess around with, even for that. So for $5, you be the judge. So I think I figured out why this is so satisfying to open. Something about this ramp here, this shape of this scale, is just very satisfying. So when you're opening it with that thumb stud, it just goes. So yeah, there's that. That's another little note for you. All right, so here's some of my key takeaways from looking at these Ozark Trail knives, both the $5 and the $10. In theory, you should be able to go to your store and buy these knives. It'd be available at your local Walmart, and I think that's part of the huge appeal to this type of thing. So hopefully for the orange one, and maybe in the future that'll be the case. That's particularly important. Say you're traveling out of town, you got to take a flight where you can't take a knife. If you're like me, you know, you want to have a knife with you. So when you touch down, you just go to the local Walmart, you pick up one of these two knives, and I think either one of these would fulfill your purposes, you know, for that. And then you keep it for, you know, a week or whatever, however long you're there. When you head out, you just gift it to somebody, and problem solved. So it solves a huge problem in that way. I think that's one of the appeals to these knives. Also, of course, being maybe a first knife or something for somebody, you know, so there's a place for it. I tell you, like everybody on the internet, it's only $5, so just buy one, throw it in your glove box, right? Love to see some of these people's glove boxes, man. Probably $5 knives just falling out of there when they open it up. But anyway, yeah, so they're not terrible. The D2 one is actually pretty dang good. The other one, it's nice. I like the shape of it. I like the way that it works. For me personally, not having had a crossbar lock knife before, these two knives have both exposed me to that. Opened up a whole new can of worms, really, in my knife journey. So, and you can see that I have a lot of knives. I've had knives my whole life, but I don't know, for whatever reason, just never bought one with the crossbar lock. I didn't think it was necessary, but now that I've experienced it, I definitely want to check out other knives and how they've executed on that technology. But anyway, guys, appreciate you being here with me and hanging out while we looked at these knives. If you want to see any of the other ones that you saw in the video, just let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to do that, and you know, we'll talk about my experience with them. And it's not really a knife channel. I do a lot of car stuff, and we talk about all kinds of interesting topics and whatnot, so you know, consider subscribing. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. Hope you all have a good day. I appreciate each and every single one of you as always. I'll catch you on the next one.